The Pirate Hunter, aka Terry McDade, and we're here with a couple inbox kit reviews of Hasegawa's X48-2 kit and X48-3. X48-2 is Aircraft Weapons B, U.S. guided bombs and rocket launchers, and C is Aircraft Weapons C, U.S. missiles and gun pods. We'll start with B here. These are a couple of my yard sales swap meet kind of buys. I've got several of these, and I'll review a couple of these other kits that I've picked up at yard sales swap meets, my $1.50 special kind of thing. You don't exactly know what you're going to get when you buy it and how much of it will be there. This one, enough of that, now we'll get on to this. This one is typical of the weapons used during the Vietnam War or just after. On the box art, which is pretty good, it shows 10 laser-guided bombs, different kind of missiles, 6 of the 2.75 and 4 of the 5-inch rocket launchers. There's different kind. There's a couple of multiple ejector racks or triple ejector racks, a bunch of different mounts for the weapons on it. On the side panel, it shows an F4D, an F-16, and it shows an F-4D with a different weapons loadout on it. The other side of the box gives you a call out of how many of each one you have inside. Just says it was made by Hasegawa in Japan. There's no date on it when it was manufactured. I think it was a while ago on this one. Inside we've got the directions, and the decals on this are not too bad, but this kit has been floating around long enough that the decals are kind of yellowed. I don't think they'll work very good. This is probably something that if you want a very good looking model, you would be better off to buy a set of aftermarket decals for this, or see if you could get another set somewhere from possibly like Hasegawa. First sprue, as you can see, there's a lot of parts missing off of it. They're in the box, they're just down in the bottom. The detail on the weapon systems is pretty good. A lot of these have kind of raised edges on them, but these went together like that. I'll have to go up to the local air museum we have here that has a bunch of these different kind of bombs there themselves, these exact kinds as display there, and look and see if the edges will have to be sanded down or if that's the way they're supposed to be. Has a little tag on it that says made in Japan. These here are the end caps for your rocket launchers on it, the 2.75s and 5-inch rockets. On the back, there's no really ejector pin marks. There's a few on a couple of the racks, but there's nothing really major about it. They go together with aligning pins and holes on it. This one, some more of them. As you can see, there's some open gaps on this. But the detail on them looks pretty good. The panel lines, like I said, I'll have to go up and check at the museum and see if they are raised on it actually, or if they are not raised. We've got several examples of each one of these up there. I don't know if I did a review on that on my Pirate Hunter channel or not. Another sprue, same kind of basic sprue. It's got the sway braces on it. Another triple ejector rack. Some more caps for the end of the rocket launchers. Some of the missiles, things like that. It's got a laser designator pod on this, and I understand there is a D kit now out by Hasegawa that the end of this actually turns. It rotates. I've seen something on it, but I haven't been able to verify anything on that because I really haven't searched on this anymore. Another sprue, as you can see, there's a lot of open spots on it where stuff kind of got put together on it. Hasegawa 148th U.S. Aircraft Weapons B, no manufacturing date. Some different ECM pods on it, different missiles. These are some of them that were put together or stuck together. They're not glued together, I found on it. They're just kind of stuck together here on them. I also understand there's on that new D kit that's come out from Hasegawa, the vents are actually opened on the sides of these things. This looks like it is out of the other kit, possibly. I don't know. I'll have to check some of the different things when they're put together. The seams, this is a typical older kit from Hasegawa in this. The seams don't quite line up good on it. Standard thing like that. Different things. Like I said, they're all basically about the same on it. This is your clear plastic for the lenses on the ends of the missiles for it, and they're in pretty good shape. They look pretty good. They're small, but they're pretty good on it. It again just says aircraft weapons B on it from something. Another one of the Gatling guns. This is one of the Gatling guns out of it. So this apparently is been put in here out of the C kit. So, but it goes together. I said there's a little bit of seams on it here. I don't know if these have been glued together or not. I said you kind of get what you buy when you buy the $1.50 specials. I think these have already been glued together unless, yep, they've already been glued together. Oh well, we'll file the seams down and go from there on it. These are the rocket pods on it for the 5-inch rockets. They got a little bit of at the buyer beware on some of this, huh? They've got a little bit of sprue flash on them in this, and I don't think they were sanded good before they were put together. But they're not too bad, really. They're the rocket pods used mostly by the Marines and the Navy on these. This is the 19-shot rocket pod on it. It's not too bad on the detail. It'd be tough. You could probably get in there with just a little tiny brush and just barely touch it if you wanted to put color on it, because the 2.75s, different rockets have different colored tips for different ordnance, I understand. There's something here from a 6-barrel Gatling gun. So it apparently goes in, I'm guessing, one of these. Down there, 6-barrel Gatling gun. I don't know, we'll have to really go through this and figure out what we got here and how everything goes together on it. The directions on it show the same thing as the box art. Shows the external storage loadout on it, and it shows it on F4Cs and Ds. Now, E-models also were used in Vietnam a lot to carry ordnance. They had a centerline. They also had a nose-mounted Gatling gun, 20mm Gatling gun, Vulcan. Shows that the missiles you got here, the external loadouts, are the AGM-12Bs and Cs bullpups, AGM-62 Walleye, GBU-10, 12, Law 3, Law 10, which are your 2 missile launchers, your ECM pods, 2 of your ECM pods, your PAVE, probably a PAVE, should be a PAVE way possibly, and a PAVE spike pod. Shows what they look like on it. Opening it up, just shows never use glue or some paint near fire, open window from time to time, kind of things. Yeah, when you get to the stage, you can't see what you're doing. Directions, please keep to the following rules. No glue contained, parents warning on it. On this shows the build-up on them. These are pretty simple on them. Like I said, most of these are 2-piece, maybe 4-piece when you throw a couple fins in on it. So the missile pod, so here shows the end caps on these things. And these come off when you fire the first missile. It will not explode on contact, but it just, the end pieces come off on it, which makes it more aerodynamic in flight. Now, if you don't want to go through trying to highlight everything on the end of the rocket launchers, you can just put these on here, which is technically correct. On the gunships we had that flew gun cover for us with these rocket pods on it, I never seen them use them. It takes too much time to do a hot rearm when they're trying to load enough rockets to get it loaded to go back out again. Assembly directions are pretty simple on it. Shows the different things, the sway braces, tells you what, like on the Tourer carries a maximum of 3 pieces of either LAU3 or LAU10. This shows where your different adapter carries either a paved spike pod or 87 ECM pod, 119 pod, standard call out on this. Sway braces on the inner pylons for F4Bs, Ns, Js, F4Cs, Ds, EJs, Fs, and Gs on the inner pylons. Paved knife pod. This just shows your sprues, A parts, B parts, to each of A parts and B parts. Goes through and in English and Japanese tells you what is which. On the back of it, it has the marking and painting guide. It explains what each weapon is: the AGM-12B bullpup, the AGM-12C, and right here it says the largest and most expensive long-range air-to-air missile. That was on the Phoenix, and so this is about the time this was probably done when the Phoenix missile came out. It was designed, I think, exclusively, and I could be wrong, so feel free to check and let me know that this was kind of designed for the F-14, or the F-14 was designed for this Phoenix missile. Different kind of ECM pods, the different kinds of GBUs on it. Rocket launcher shows it with the caps on it. So this triple ejector rack shows where the color goes, the decals go on it, and this page on the back part of this just shows from A and C, standard kind of directions on it. Now let's get into our other $1.50 yard sale score kind of thing and see what we got in this one. Standard thing, aircraft weapon C, just pretty good box art, no sense going around and flipping it all over and looking at it again. Now on the side of that box, it showed an F-16 with a loadout on it, but there's no call out on the loadout on the directions on how to load an F-16. It just shows for an F-4C and D on it, and the Navy aircraft on it. Directions. Oh, this one's not too bad. Wow, this is kind of interesting. This is a lot better than the other one. This has got the just kind of some directions on it, warnings, cleaning and preparing resin parts for use, how to prepare etched metal parts, which is pretty good on it. Shows you how to fix the decals on it, what they suggest. Open this one up, see what we got inside here. I haven't been into this one, so I didn't know it was still all secured in plastic. Decals, look at them in a minute. This has got 3 sprues in it. Whatever it's supposed to have. It's got 3 sprues in it, shows the different missiles, the harms, AIM-9s, Sidewinder on it, different fins for them, different braces on it. Backside shows, just the 2 halves of them. The injector pin marks appear to be on the inside on most of the bigger ones, but I don't know what we've got. The missiles look pretty good. There's a little bit of flash on them, a little bit of attachment where the sprue is. Doesn't look too bad. Same on this one. This is the other half of it. This shows just some different missiles, some of the different ECM pods on it. All same thing. They all look about the same on it. Look pretty good. I said, there is 4 here. Different missiles, a couple of Gatling gun pods on it. Adapters for mounting them. This just says aircraft weapons C, B, the B side on these. Detail on them is pretty good. The plastic feels pretty good. It's typical older kit on it. This one, and just another sprue shown with the different parts on it. Gatling gun, a couple of Gatling gun pods. That's basically why I bought this, was for the Gatling gun pods. Some different decals here, weapons, aircraft 148th Weapon C. These decals are in pretty good shape. This apparently is a newer kit than the old one. Different U.S. Air Force serial numbers on it. Different lines marks, small U.S. Air Force, small different marks on it. Like I said, it's pretty good. They appear to be in register pretty good. So we'll see how they turn out on it. Directions. Again, it shows external stores on F4G and E on this one. AIM 4D, AIM 9B, AIM 9E, AIM 9J, AGM 45, 65, 78, and the SUU 23 Gatling gun on it. It says this aircraft weapon's been called only accessories and aircraft kits and have not been correctly reproduced in any kit form. A to C covers most of the recent weapons carried by the U.S. aircraft. So it goes on to explain that. Standard thing on it, warnings, directions, don't snort the glue, things like that. Again, you open it up, pretty standard directions on it. Shows how to assemble everything on it. Again, now this shows clear plastic on this, but there was no clear plastic in that one, and I'm wondering if that sprue I have in that other one with the clear plastic must be for this one to put in the missiles here. Okay, makes sense on it. We think we'll figure it out. The S-23A Gatling gun pod, the high peg Gatling gun pod, 30 millimeter Gatling gun pod on it. I said mostly what I bought these for is the Gatling gun pods and the rocket launchers. As the pirate hunters learned after the battle of the 7 pirate clans, that trying to use hard bombs on small targets, which can range anything from sandpan sized up to 60-foot pirate ships, you're much better off using Gatling guns or rocket pods on them. It's much easier to shoot up a ship with them than it is something else. Backside of it is painting a marking guide again on it. Gives you a bunch of information on the different weapons on it, how to paint it, the different missiles. Now, the pirate hunters do carry some laser-guided weapons, not many, because it reduces the amount of ordnance you can carry and the amount of distance they have to fly over the ocean to go back and rearm at times. They're better off carrying Gatling guns and rocket pods. I understand there is also a 2-seater aircraft that they are using that is very similar to an A-10, but it's 2-seater as a Wild Weasel kind of version, because the pirates are also becoming more technologically advanced, or they're getting weapons supplied to them that are more technologically advanced. So again, it goes on, shows the Gatling gun. Now, this 30 millimeter Gatling gun is only a 4-barrel compared to the 6-barrel on the A-10 aircraft. And some of these, I understand, have been configured to be mounted to the aircraft, where they are mounted to the side of the fuselage, where more weapons can be stored, more rounds can be stored internally and fed out to these, using a little bit more, giving a little more firepower and a longer time of fire on them. Some of these, like I said, are on these to this. So they're not a bad kit. Looks pretty good. I will have to do some of my research to see how these are, because I'm very lucky I have an air museum that's about 10 miles from here that has a lot of these weapons displayed there. I also understand the pirate hunters are using a cluster type bomb that they use on their night stalker aircraft, that instead of having explosive charges come out of it, because they are working over water and doesn't do much good, they are using 2.5 to 3 foot long pieces of steel rod or rebar in it. So when it comes apart, some of these have fins and are sharp, and some are just loose in there. And when they're dropped, they just come whistling out of the night onto a ship or onto a pirate lair somewhere. And the pirates say this is one of the most terrifying things to hear at night. I also understand that there was one, napalm is not very usually used because you're over water and it doesn't work good on ships, that they took, one ground crew filled a napalm type tank with human waste, and it was dropped on a pirate lair, and the pirates communicated and said, "We know you try to kill us with machine guns and bombs and rockets, but you don't have to try to kill us with crap." This is the Pirate Hunter. Thanks for watching the video. And to quote the great Jerry Springer, take care of yourself and each other.